Welcome back, fellas, to another day in the NBA. It is March 3rd, Monday. This video is getting a little bit late, but that's okay. We have 4 locks for today. Yesterday, we went 0-2. Quick recap. Overtime fucked us. Jalen Brunson cashed in regulation. They went into overtime. He went over in overtime. Bad beat. Shit like that happens, but the read was there. It's sickening to went into overtime. Not going to waste too much of the time there. Went 0-2. We are now 2-2 on the month. But yeah, anyway, let's waste no time in the recap. I'm just going to try to speed through this video for you guys to get out as fast as possible and so you guys can see it as fast as possible and not waste any of your time. With that being said, the slate for today is what everybody's going to come here for. Starting with the Trailblazers versus Sixers. I tried to find a play in this game. I liked Anthony Simon's points maybe, but I just wasn't super confident about it. I feel like there is a small blowout potential here, so I'm going to kind of stay away from this game betting-wise. But I do like the Trailblazers to cover here at plus 3.5. Golden State, the Hornets, I want to take Mark Williams. I want to take LaMelo Ball. I want to take these lines because they're so low. But there's a reason this is a minus 12 spread. The Hornets are getting blown out every single game. I can't feel confident taking either side because I don't know which way this game is going to go, whether it's going to be a 50-point blowout or it's going to be a close game. I'm not risking that, so I'm staying away from this game. Golden State minus 12, pretty easy. Now I'm going to go to the Wizards and Miami. I'm taking Miami minus 11. Again, this is another stay away game for me. OKC, the Rockets, this is my favorite game in this slate. The Rockets don't have many lines out because there's a lot of guys questionable. So the lines, I was waiting on these lines last night until fucking 3 a.m. I was up and I was like, hey, I want the Rockets OKC. Hey, I want the Rockets versus OKC. I never fucking got it. So I didn't get it until literally about 4 hours ago. So, and even then, there's only OKC lines, but we'll get into that anyway. OKC, I like the Rockets to cover 11.5. They're not going to probably lose by that. Anyway, Memphis minus 6.5 against the Hawks. This is a solid game to be betting on. Probably the second best game in the slate. Technically, I'm probably going to lean into those bets a little bit. Dallas minus 1.5. The Kings are without Domantas Sabonis, so we'll see how that plays out. They're going to have Valanciunas starting at center. And then the Pistons and Jazz, that's going to be a blowout. Pistons minus 9. With that being said, we're going to be starting with DeMar DeRozan to go over 21.5 points. Again, this Kings game is probably the best game to be getting on versus Dallas. And again, there's no Sabonis, which means DeMar DeRozan's usage is going to go up. That's what we're all going to be looking for. Who's going to be getting this usage from Domantas Sabonis because he was a big usage player? With that being said, Dallas has allowed the second most points to opposing small forwards in the past 7 games this season. As well, in those games, they've allowed 4 of the last 5 small forwards to go over on their points lines. Dallas allows the 8th most points in the mid-range area, which is where DeMar DeRozan scores 45% of his points. They allow the 8th most points. That is a big, big factor. And DeMar's going to see a usage bump, again, with no Sabonis. So hopefully looking for that to really correlate. And he's hit over this mark in 4 of the last 7 games. So getting him at 21.5 and minus 105 on DK felt like a great spot. Put that in a Discord last night. If you're not in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord in the comments below. It is not in the comments, in the description below. It's an absolutely free Discord, and I put all the plays in as early as possible for you guys. The next play is going to be Trae Young to go over 10.5 assists. I posted this on Twitter last night because I knew the line was going to bump. I still like it at 11.5. I think he has some really good matchups here. Memphis is allowing the most assists to opposing point guards in the past 7 games, by over 1.5 assists. And that's a lot when you're talking about averages in the past 7 games. They're allowing over 1.5 more assists than any other team to opposing point guards. And Trae's hit over this line in 6 of the last 10 games this season, as well as Trae's averaging 20.3 potential assists per game in the past 10 games. 6 of the last 8 point guards have gone over on their assist line versus this Memphis team, and they're allowing the 9th most assists this season in general. So again, he's dishing the rock. He should see a ton of volume as well. He's averaging over these 20% potential assist mark, which is doubling, which is what we're looking for. I think he has about a 13 assist game this game, and he easily rocks out this line. So I kind of like to ladder it. If you want to ladder it up to 12.5, it could be a fun little thing to do. I'm not going to do that, but it's definitely worth the shout. And then SGA over 30.5 points. SGA's hit over this mark in 7 of the last 10 games this season, and he's crushed this line in 4 of the last 5 games versus Houston. That's what we're mainly looking at. And Houston allows the second most points to opposing point guards this season. They allow the second most points to the pick-and-roll ball handler this season, 26% of SGA's points. They also allow the 3rd most points in the ISO. That's 18% of SGA's points. And SGA's averaging over 21 field goal attempts per game. Now, again, the spread of this game feels a lot wider than I think the game is going to be. Houston tends to keep games close. They're a very good basketball team right now. I get they're young, but I think they're on a very good trajectory, and they have a good defense, which should lead to a lower scoring game, where SGA just does his normal 30, and everyone else gets gets what they get. I think SGA is easily going to score over 31 points today. As he's been against this Rockets team, averaging 34 points in their past 5 meetings. I think he's going to probably sit around the 33 mark, the 32 mark, like he normally does. As he's not like this bona fide huge scorer of like 40 points per game, but he normally does it very, very consistent, like 33. So getting him at 31, getting him at 30.5 to get 31 feels like a great spot. He's hit this in 21 of his last 30 games. That's 70% of games he's hit this line. I think he does it here again today. And our last play is going to be in this Detroit game versus the Jazz. We're going to take Cade Cunningham to go over 25.5 points. Love this spot for Cade. Again, he's been crushing this line, so I really like to get him here. Cade in away games, because again, this isn't away. This is away at Utah. He's hit over this line in 7 of the last 10 games, averaging 30 points per game. Now he goes against the Utah defense that allows the 4th most points to opposing point guards, as well as he's crushed this line versus Utah. For the last 5 games, he's hit over this versus Utah, averaging 30 points in those games. So again, he's averaging 30 points damn near across the board right now. In away games this season, he's also averaging over 22 field goal attempts per game, which is plenty of volume to hit the 25 mark. As well as we know, he gets to the rack a decent amount, averaging 5 free throw attempts per game. So if he sees 5 free throw attempts per game, 21 field goal attempts per game, that's the perfect volume we're looking for. This Utah team also allows the 4th most 3-point attempts to the opposing point guard position, as well as the 4th highest field goal make percentage, as well as the 6th highest field goal percentage. So again, a ton of just volume there that they're going to be dishing out per usual. Now, if you go to the nitty gritty stuff and we look at the more projected stuff, they are bottom 2 in the paint. Allowing points in the paint that's not the restricted area, so just outside the restricted area, points in the paint, where he scores 30% of his points. The other 30% of his points comes from beyond the arc, where they're worst. They're the worst team in the entire league at. So that's 60% of his points. They're bottom 2. Not only that, but they are bottom 7 at transition points, isolation points, handoff points, and post-up points, which is where he scores roughly about 25%, 27% more of his points per game. Sorry, excuse me, that's more than that. That's about like 35% of his points. So again, that's about making about 90% of his points he gets from those 3 spots. That's about 90% of his points all collected, or partially 90% of his points all collected into these categories, and that this Jazz are just horrible at stopping. There's a reason the spread is 9. I think Cade can blow this one open and easily go over this 25.5 mark. If you guys enjoyed this video, this is it. I'm keeping it short, keeping it sweet, keeping it simple for you guys to dissect, to be able to take advantage of these plays. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to do all this sort of fun shit down below. Make sure to share this with your friends. If you like this sort of channel and you want to get into the betting, you're like, hey, this guy kind of knows ball, this guy's kind of decent in what he does, that'd be really appreciated, as we're trying to grow this channel as big as possible to get you guys the best bets in a daily fashion. So make sure, again, to like, subscribe, all that sort of fun shit down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.